stop, collaborate, and listen. Well, good evening, Sumter School District boys and girls, and welcome to a special edition of Reading with the Superintendent. For the first time, I've actually elicited the support of one of our wonderful, wonderful children here in the Sumter School District. And tonight, I have my friend, Miss Ella, with us. Hi, Miss Ella, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm just dandy. I hope we did a good job with playing one of your favorite songs, Vanilla Ice, Ice, Ice Baby. So now that we know that's one thing about you, why don't you introduce yourself to those who are watching us?
Well, my name's Ella Kay. I go to Alice Drive Middle School. I play volleyball and I do dance.
Well, what kind of dance do you do?
I do hip hop.
You do? Oh, so like, did I hit the wall right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what's your favorite subject in school?
Social studies.
Okay, why social studies?
I like learning about history a lot, and just it's kind of cool to look at how things used to be.
How they used to be. Okay. So we're going to talk about some people of what used to be, but we're going to learn some facts about a couple of famous individuals who've impacted the world today. So are you ready to begin reading?
Yes, ma'am.
So there's one technique that I use. And if I say 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me, then you say 1, 2, my eyes on you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do this, you have it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me.
1, 2, all eyes on you.
Yes, ma'am. So tonight we're going to read Before She Was Harriet. And this is written by Lisa Klein Ransom and illustrated by James Ransom. And so, do you know anybody named Harriet from social studies or in history?
I know Harriet Tubman.
You do?
Yes.
Let's see what Harriet we're talking about in this book. So I'm ready to read because I'm ready to have fun with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So let's begin to read Before She Was Harriet. Here she sits, an old woman, tired and worn, her legs stiff, her back achy. Why? Why do you think her back is stiff and achy and her legs are stiff? What do you think she may be doing?
She may work a lot.
Okay, she may work a lot. Let's keep reading and we'll find out.
But before wrinkles formed and her eyes failed, before she reached her twilight years, she could walk for miles and see clearly under a sky lit with only stars.
Wow, that's a pretty sky. Have you ever seen a sky that looks like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Wow, this one looks, oh, wow. Let's find out what's happening now. Before she was an old woman, she was a suffragist, a voice for women who had none in marriages, in courts, in voting booths. Before her voice became soft and raspy, it was loud and angry, rising above injustice. That's a big word that I mentioned a few moments ago, a suffragist. You know what that means?
She spoke a lot for people who didn't speak up.
And who were the people who didn't speak up?
Probably some women that were too afraid to.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Keep reading. This is getting interesting, Miss Ella Kay.
Before she was a suffragist, she was General Tubman, rising out of the fog, armed with courage, strong in the face of rebels and planters and overseers. As they watched fields burn and bridges fall, and 700 slaves stop chopping and start running to a woman who ferried them to freedom on the Combahee River, turned River Jordan.
Wow. Wow. The illustration is actually magnificent. Before she was General Tubman, She was a Union spy, carrying secrets across battlefields to soldiers fighting in the Civil War for President Lincoln to end slavery. I would say that she is very bold. How would you describe her?
She's very brave and bold.
I would say so. I agree with you. Yes, ma'am.
Before she was a Union spy, she was a nurse, caring for those hit with bullets and hatred and fear, tending to them with bandages and words in the bloody dirt of Southern soil.
Wow. I would say she's also talented because now she's no longer classified as a suffragist. She's considered to be a nurse.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want to do, or what do you want to change in the world when you grow up?
I feel like I want to pretty much have everybody equal. Like there's no this is better than that. It's all equal.
Okay. All right. I like that. We're going to have to do lunch together. Before she was a nurse, she was Aunt Harriet, daughter of Ben and Rich, who helped her parents flee their master and find their way through woods and streams to the safety of Canada and a new home in the North. Now, she and I have something in common. You know where I came from before I came here?
I do not.
The North.
Before she was Aunt Harriet, she was Moses, a conductor on an underground railroad with no trains and no tracks, just passengers, traveling to freedom up north through swamps, past slave catchers, across rivers, under the cover of night.
Wow. I think your description of her still continues through this passage that we just read. Brave, brave. Seeking the promised land for her people, led by dreams and God and faith, a wisp of a woman with the courage of a lion. That's almost how you described her, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what? I see courage in you, making me proud. Absolutely.
Before she was Moses, she was Minty of Maryland, of one slave owner, and then others who worked her, punished her with lashes, broke her back, but not her spirit.
That's a powerful statement. They broke her back, but not her spirit. What do you think that means?
It doesn't matter how many times they tried to tear her down, she would always get back up.
Good girl. Before she was Minty, she was Araminta, a young girl taught by her father to read the words and the stars at night, readying for the day. So before she was Minty, she was Araminta. That's a nice fact. Did you know that?
No, ma'am.
Her name? Okay.
She'd leave behind slavery along with her name and pick a new one, Harriet.
You know, I used to want to change my name when I was growing up. You want me to tell you why? Do you know what my first name is?
No, ma'am. Penelope.
I didn't like it at first, but I grew to like it because it was unique.
Yes, ma'am.
And remember her days as a suffragist, as a general, as a spy, as a nurse, as Aunt Harriet, as Moses, as a conductor. She wore many hats.
Yes, ma'am. As Minty as a Ramada who dreamed of living long enough to one day be old, stiff and achy, tired and worn, and wrinkled and free.
Wrinkled and free. Worn and wrinkled and free. So there is a little paragraph at the end of the book. And so I'm going to read it because I think it has some meaning to it. To the guiding force of all the women who have led the way through courage, strength, perseverance, and intellect, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Fannie Lou Hamer, Toni Morrison, Michelle Obama, Viola Davis, Anne Sneed, Ernestine Klein. This is so powerful because there are women who are listed in here who continue to pave the way. And you know who else is powerful enough to pave the way?
Who?
You are, my Ella Kay.
Thank you.
I had a great time reading with you. I think you did a magnificent job, and I want to read with you again in the future. You think we can handle that?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll come back for Women's History Month, and we'll find some books to read. So why don't you pick the book, and then you tell me what book I need to practice to read before we read again. How about that?
That's fine.
I think you're beautiful on the inside and outside, my dear. So
Thank
you.
Thank you.
So can we leave with your ice baby?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you to all for joining us this evening with an evening of reading with the superintendent. Thank you, Ella Kay, and thank you to Miss Harriet for leading the way. And hip what? Thank you, my dear.